The future of our defense hangs by a thread as management considers a move that could turn the NFL upside down. An All-Pro might be headed to Washington in a trade that would change the entire league landscape. Meanwhile, our defensive line is receiving harsh criticism that could sink our championship aspirations. An unexpected veteran is silencing all those who wrote them off, becoming Daniel's secret weapon. And one of our new receivers is sending a message revealing true loyalty. Do we have what it takes to dominate the NFC East, or are we doomed from the start? Stick around until the end, because the latest news might change the fate of our franchise forever. The least shocking but equally relevant news for our community features our new star receiver. I just found out that Deebo Samuel didn't hesitate to show appreciation for his former quarterback after Brock Purdy signed a 5-year contract. Extension worth $265 million with the San Francisco 49ers, making him the 7th highest paid player in the entire NFL. Out of the total, $165 million are guaranteed over the first 3 seasons. Purdy and Samuel built a strong connection in San Francisco, helping the 49ers reach consecutive NFC Championship appearances. Samuel thrived with Purdy as quarterback, racking up yards after reception and playing a key role in the 49ers' offensive success. Worried about this show of camaraderie? I believe there's no reason to be alarmed. These gestures are normal among former teammates, especially when they had success together. What really matters is that Samuel now seeks to recreate that chemistry with our second-year quarterback. Samuel shared his enthusiasm for his former teammate, posting a short message on social media. "Congratulations, brother. Well deserved." The Commanders showed flashes of brilliance last season, finishing with a record of 12-5, their best mark since 1991, and making a surprising run to the NFC Championship. With Samuel now added to an already promising offensive unit, the hope is that his veteran presence can elevate the group even further and give Daniels another reliable weapon. Now I ask you, do you think this past connection with Purdy might affect Samuel's integration with Daniels? Or will it be beneficial by bringing that winning experience to our team? There's still quite some time before our season opener on the 7th of September against the New York Giants, but the starting lineup for the offense and defense is beginning to take shape. And let me tell you, there are some surprises that should keep us very attentive. The team is expected to have some new starters on each side of the ball, but the core of the Commanders should be relatively the same as last year. Bleacher Report writer Matt Holder projected the starting lineups for all 32 teams, including the Commanders. On offense, Holder has Jaden Daniels under center, along with running back Brian Robinson Jr., receivers Terry McLaurin, Noah, Brown and Deebo Samuel, tight end Zach Ertz, new left tackle Laramie Tunsil, left guard Nick Allegretti, center Tyler Biadasz, new right guard Nate Herbig, and right tackle Brandon Coleman. Holder highlighted that the Commanders' offensive line could be a potentially different unit next season. The Commanders seem established offensively and don't have too many notable position battles before training camp. However, the right side of the offensive line is interesting. He wrote, "Sam Cosmi is recovering from a torn anterior cruciate ligament suffered in the playoffs that might have him starting late this season, while Coleman, Andrew Wiley, and rookie Josh Connerly Jr. will compete at the tackle position. Wiley is also a candidate to replace Cosmi on defense. Holder has edge rusher Dorrance Armstrong, defensive tackles Darren Payne and Javon Kinlaw, defensive end Detrick Wise, linebackers Bobby Wagner and Frankie Luvu, cornerbacks Marshawn Lattimore, Jonathan Jones, and Mike Sainristil, and safeties Will Harris and Quan Martin. Defensively, Washington's front line seems set, where the only clear competition is between Wise and Clelin Ferrell at the defensive end position. In the secondary, the rookie Trey Amos could challenge Jones for a starting spot, and the safety position is open to anyone," Holder wrote. Do you agree with these projections? Or do you think there are players who should have a chance to compete for a starting spot? I think the offensive line situation could be more complicated than it seems, especially considering Cosmi's recovery. All the offseason hype centered around quarterback Jaden Daniels and the impressive additions made by the Washington Commanders. But one analyst believes the Renaissance man from last season might play a significant role in any success that comes next season. The Commanders got much more than they expected with Zach Ertz last season. They gave him the chance to revitalize his career with a 1-year contract, which interestingly reunited the tight end with Cliff Kingsbury. It was a low-risk gamble that paid off amazingly. Fans approached the move with cautious optimism. Some analysts thought time had already caught up with the former second-round selection. It didn't take long to realize that Ertz still had plenty of good football in the tank. The three-time Pro Bowler emerged as one of Daniel's most reliable targets. Ertz's consistent hands, sure body control, and ability to respond in the most important moments manifested throughout a season to remember. He was a willing mentor for others and an exceptional leader in the locker room to further increase his influence. Washington rewarded Ertz accordingly with a new one-year contract. Hopes are high that the same performance levels can be maintained, which Jonathan Macri of Pro Football Focus believes is possible after naming him Washington's most underrated player for 2025. Ertz enjoyed some stellar seasons with the Eagles and was by no means underrated at that time. But as a 34-year-old tight end, nearing the end of his career, it seemed his best seasons were behind him. However, Ertz delivered over 80 receptions in 2024 for the first time since 2019, leading to his best receiving grade from PFF, 72.5, and total yards, 809, in that same span. He ranked among the top 10 in targets for his position in the regular season, an impressive feat at this stage of his career. Wrote Macri, "There's not much Ertz hasn't accomplished throughout his career. He's eager for more and has never thought of retiring after gaining new life in Washington. John Bates will handle the blocking duties, and it would be a huge disappointment if Ben Sinnott, the 2024 second-round pick, isn't more involved. Still, the Stanford graduate will bear the brunt." Do you think Ertz could surpass his output from last year? Or do you think we'll see a natural decline due to his age? I tell you this, never underestimate a veteran with something to prove, especially one with the hands and smarts of Ertz. The Washington Commanders have made several additions to their roster this offseason, but there are concerns about a critical area of the team that could sink our Super Bowl aspirations. The Commanders' defensive line is now seen as their biggest weakness heading into the 2025 season, and this should raise all possible alarms in the team's building. Washington had the second lowest rated defensive line in the NFL last season, according to Pro Football Focus. Despite signing several veterans during free agency, none of the additions project to be high-impact players. Javon Kinlaw has improved a bit as a pass rusher, PFF wrote, but has never earned an overall PFF grade above 55.0 in his 5 NFL seasons. Veteran Jacob Martin is also expected to contribute, although only in a rotational role. The Commanders parted ways with edge Dante Fowler Jr. last year and have yet to replace that high-level edge production. While veteran edge Dorrance Armstrong brings experience, he hasn't consistently performed as a true number one pass rusher. Washington still has time to address the position, with options available in the remaining free agent pool and potential salary cap casualties as rosters start to trim during training camp. PFF further noted that Dietrich Wise Jr. and Eddie Goldman have struggled over the past 2 seasons, adding that facing physical offensive lines like Philadelphia's twice a year will require some surprise performances from the Commanders' defensive line. Unless one of these players dramatically exceeds expectations, Washington could continue struggling in the trenches in 2025, a huge red flag in a division loaded with talent on the offensive side of the ball. Now I ask you all, should the Commanders make a desperate move to bolster the defensive line, or trust in the development of current players and Dan Quinn's scheme? The stars might be aligning for the Washington Commanders to make another bold trade this offseason. This time, All-Pro defensive end Trey Hendrickson is the potential acquisition capable of taking head coach Dan Quinn's team to the next level in 2025. An NFL analyst crafted what he believes would be an acceptable package that would undoubtedly send shockwaves throughout the league if it materialized. Hendrickson is taking things personally with the Cincinnati Bengals, and rightfully so. The pass rusher believes promises concerning a new contract have been broken. This week, he launched another media tirade criticizing the organization, which came after the AFC North club cut off negotiations with the 4-time Pro Bowler. This inevitably came with the speculation about an exit from the Bengals. The Commanders lack legitimate threats on the edge, but general manager Adam Peters has relatively few assets available after trading for Marshawn Lattimore, Deebo Samuel Sr., and Laramie Tunsil in recent months. Mike Moratis of Sporting News outlined a trade offer that could work well for both parties. This involved high-level draft capital and Dorrance Armstrong Jr., who joined the Commanders last year but achieved only a 14% win rate in quarterback pressures in 2024. This would really be a solid deal for both parties. The Bengals get significant draft capital for Hendrickson and a solid edge rusher who can replace him short-term. We don't love that Cincinnati returns a second-round pick, but we'd agree to a mid-round selection to finalize this. Meanwhile, the Commanders get an edge rusher who is an upgrade over Dante Fowler and single-handedly boosts Washington's chances of winning a Super Bowl, wrote Moratis. Hendrickson would aid Washington's pursuit of the Super Bowl. Giving up a first-round pick, even if they receive a second-rounder in return, would be a contentious issue. Parting with Armstrong, who would ideally line up opposite the former Florida Atlantic player on the defensive front, would also be less than ideal. All this is speculation, and nothing more for now. Peters seems content with the options available, but his aggressive mindset means he will never stop seeking improvements if the right opportunities arise. The Commanders are being taken seriously once again. They are a highly sought-after item and one of the leading Super Bowl contenders in 2025. Hendrickson would probably still like to stay in Cincinnati, but joining this ambitious project with a big chip on his shoulder represents a win-win situation for all involved. Do you think it's worth sacrificing first-round draft capital and an established player for someone of Hendrickson's caliber? I believe if we want to seriously compete for a Super Bowl, this is exactly the kind of bold move that could make the difference. The 2025 season looks like it will be an emotional roller coaster for us Commanders fans. We have a formidable offensive group with Daniels, Samuel, McLaurin, and a rejuvenated Ertz. But those defensive concerns are real and urgent. If Peters makes this move for Hendrickson, we could be looking at a really special team. What do you think of this news? Would you support sacrificing the future for winning now? Do you trust Quinn to maximize current talent on the defensive line? I need to know what you think. Your opinion is critical for this community. If you found value in this analysis, please subscribe right now to ensure you don't miss any updates on our Commanders. Every subscription strengthens this passionate fan family that shares the same enthusiasm. Like this video to reach more of the team's followers. And remember, hail to the Redskins!